Parents, Dr. Kirsten Fulong here, and I'm here today to talk about night terrors. Now, this is something that plagues a lot of kids these days that we hear about all the time in our office. Night terrors can be the most perplexing, scary, and alarming experiences for your toddler. And let's face it, as a parent, you can get quite literally exhausted when this is something your child wakes up almost every single night with. Most of the time, when our kids have any sort of health challenge or immune system challenge or even sleep challenge, we'll take them to the pediatrician to figure out what the heck is going on. We're looking for answers for our kids. But unfortunately, with this specific issue, most pediatricians really will just say you have to wait it out. They'll typically tell parents that their child is just going to grow out of it. It's really hard to hear this as a parent because you're being woken up multiple times a night and your child is a toddler that's basically just waking up, climbing into your bed, and you're just being told that one day they're just going to magically grow out of it. So you're looking for a solution. You're looking for a root cause and something that can help your child get through this stage because unfortunately, this is common and not normal. So as pediatric chiropractors who focus on the nervous system, we are always trying to figure out the root cause for these kids and why their nervous systems are under stress. And whether it's night terrors, colic, ear infections, sensory issues, behavioral problems, you name it, we are determined to figure out what is stressing these kids out. When you're a parent dealing with a child that gets consistent night terrors, this can be a huge stress on the entire family as well. Your child is waking up in fear and anxiety. These intense episodes just wake them up and they have to climb into your bed and you really just can't shake them out of it. And this is totally different from nightmares. Nightmares are pretty normal, but night terrors are a whole different story. So for so many kids, these intense episodes can create such stress on their bodies every single day. And the pediatrician might say, you know what, they just have to grow out of it. But this is really something that we see that actually shifts into a different thing later on that's more extreme for them. And so now while your whole family's running on a lack of sleep, you're probably just done with it. You're exhausted. And so I just want you to stick with us in this video. We're going to break it down for you. We're going to break down the root cause, the science, and most importantly, we're going to give you drug-free action steps to shift your child's nervous system from this fight or flight state back into this rest, digest, and sleep mode of their nervous system. So the first thing that we want to know about night terrors is that they're totally different from nightmares. They're a lot more intense, they're a lot more scary for your child, and they actually happen during non-REM sleep, which is your deep sleep cycle. So sleep is essential for everyone and unbelievably essential for your child. When your child is developing and growing, they have a lot more to do with their brains. So having a deep REM sleep cycle for them is really what affects the quality of their sleep. So your child could be in bed for 15 hours, but only really getting 5 to 6 quality hours of sleep if they're constantly being woken out of this REM sleep, and they're not even really getting into that deep sleep mode. So night terrors actually mean that your child is not getting through the proper stages of sleep and not getting into the deepest phase of sleep, that REM sleep that I was talking about. So when you understand that the brain and the autonomic nervous system are key players in whether your child is getting good quality sleep, you might start to understand why seeing a doctor that specializes with the nervous system and measures the nervous system is the right person to go to for those struggles with sleep. And this is also why we take a detailed look into this child's history. Most of the kiddos in our office that have chronic night terrors also had things like colic, gassiness, fussiness, and sleep issues when they were a baby. So there were early signs early on for this child. And so this is why the most ideal time to see patients is preconception, so we can address this stress early on and take these babies out of this fight or flight stage that they should not be in. They should be in this parasympathetic rest and digest mode. So what I'm going to talk about more is basically the brain and the nervous system have two main functions. One mode we like to call the brake pedal mode. So this is where we should see healthy functioning babies, like I mentioned, 90% of the time. They should be eating, sleeping, and pooping. They need to be digesting, they need to be resting. These babies are growing at a fast rate. And this is all your parasympathetic response. One huge clinical correlation that we see all the time is when kids don't get enough sleep, they're more prone to neurological, sensory, neurological integrative, and neurodevelopmental challenges later on because their body simply just isn't getting enough time in this parasympathetic mode that I was talking about. And this is where most of their healthy growing and healing occurs. So during the day, naturally, we're meant to be more in this fight or flight, go, 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 gas pedal mode, what we call that. And when we start to unwind for the night, our brain and our central nervous system start to shift down into that brake pedal mode that I mentioned earlier. And first, we have to get our kiddos to sleep. So once they get to sleep, then the goal after that is to get them into the deep REM healing sleep. So what happens with these kids where moms had stressful births, they were colicky as babies and fussy, they then turn into the kid that does not have an off button. And I'm sure you've all seen kids like this. The kid that's shifted so far into this gas pedal mode that they're having tantrums, chronic ear infections, behavioral focus issues. They can literally not shut off. These kids have major struggles with just getting down for bed. And this is because their nervous system has to overcome a much bigger gap between their gas mode and their brake mode. So these are the kids that later on turn into the ADHD kids, the behavior kids, the autism spectrum disorder kids, because their nervous system has been stuck on for so long and they never have been able to fully get into that rest and brake mode. And they literally can't control this. This is the root cause of night terrors, and that is why your child is constantly waking up every couple hours because their stress mode literally cannot shut off. So even when they're sleeping and supposedly resting, their brain is not resting. So if you're a parent that has a child that struggles with this, that means that you've tried a lot. You've tried it all. You've tried all the white noise machines. You've tried the essential oils, the lotions, the darkness, the melatonin, and so much more. Every supplement that you throw at it, it kind of helps, but really doesn't get to the root cause for your child. So there might be one foundational piece missing. It's very likely that their nervous system has shifted into this overdrive, stressed out state, and it's been stuck there for a long time. And this is where we come in to help you find where this stuck stress is in their bodies in a very gentle way. So once we start to see kids in our office start to shift back into this brake pedal mode under our care, their bodies start to let go of these struggles, these outbursts, these sleep struggles, the picky eating, the chronic ear infections, the sensory issues, the list goes on. And so if this sounds like your child, click the link below. There's more information and resources for you as a parent on how nervous system focused chiropractic care can help regulate your child back into this healing mode that they need to be in.